So Ubisoft finally put out a trailer for their new game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I don't know why this is surprising for a lot of people, but it turned out that the lead character in this video game, well, one of the leads anyways, is a black guy called Yasuke, who is actually based on a historical figure, a black guy that happened to be in Japan at some point. And this is the character that they based this game on. And as you can imagine, there was a lot of feelings, from the positive to the negative to the indifferent. And I today, while not wanting to delve too deeply, would like to talk about some of the drama surrounding this game. So let's talk about it very quickly. So I mentioned that there are two leads in this game, but obviously a lot of the issues that people seem to have is with the male lead, who is Yasuke, a black guy. So I could look at this from a creative point of view and say that from a creative perspective, Ubisoft were trying to do something a bit interesting here by choosing Yasuke as the lead in Japan, because it would make it a bit more obscure and more unique, and I guess it would line up with the story that they're trying to tell. But because we have all of this DEI, ESG, we have to tick all these boxes, madness happening everywhere, it is of course natural that most people are going to think you based this game in Japan and decided to make your main lead, even though we have a female lead, which no one's talking about, your main lead, it seems, decided to choose a black guy. And because of all of this DEI stuff, it is natural that people are going to think that this is just them ticking boxes, because it would have been very easy to just have a Japanese lead, but they chose not to do that. And I know the argument is going to be, well, they do have a Japanese lead because there is a female, but again, that ties into the whole DEI, ESG, we have to have a woman in their mentality, which I don't have a problem with in terms of having a female character. But when it starts to feel like they are just pandering and that is all that they are doing, and so you're substituting telling an interesting story to pander, of course you're going to get people that have an issue with this. Now, obviously not everyone has an issue with this. There are actually people that think this is a great idea, but you are, of course, inevitably going to get people that have an issue with this. I personally feel indifferent, and I'll tell you why. When it comes to Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, I don't care what they do anymore, because I find their games to be all copy and pasted. It is the same game that we get with a new coat of paint. So I personally will not be buying this game. I probably will play it if someone around me happens to be playing it, but I won't be spending my money, especially as I'm hearing that it costs tons of money as well, which is ridiculous. You're putting out something that is the same game as the last one with a new coat of paint and asking people to pay more and more and more. I am completely indifferent when it comes to these games, so it wouldn't have mattered to me who they put in here. I would have just been like, okay, another Assassin's Creed game. But that is just my personal opinion. Of course, there are huge fans of this game, people that were looking forward to this, people that were hoping that now that they were basing it in Japan, they would have a Japanese lead, a male lead. And I can understand. I can look at this from both perspectives. So I can look at this from a creative perspective and think, oh, they were doing something interesting there. If it wasn't for the fact that it always feels like they are just trying to tick these boxes. And I can also look at it from the perspective of, if this was reversed, if this game was based in Africa and they replaced the Africans or the African lead, one of the African leads, with some person of any other race who just happened to be somewhere in the tribe where this is based. Let's say they were doing it based on the Zulus or something, and then they had some random person who happened to be there at the time and they based this game off of that, there would be uproar. So I don't think it's fair to act like people from other parts of the world who react negatively because they don't feel like they're being represented for whatever reason are suddenly the R word, because then that's what gets thrown around. And of course that does happen. There are people who are the R word, but I don't think generally that is the feeling. I think that people just feel underrepresented. I feel like they are tired of this pandering. I personally am tired of it. It's getting boring now. Like, can we just tell great stories. It'd be nice to just stay true to where you're basing this game. It doesn't always have to be different, does it? Secondly, there have been these rumors about the 2 lead characters in this game being LGBTQ. Now, while a lot of people seem to have an issue with this is not surprising to me, simply because my understanding of this is that they're doing what they've done in previous games, which is give you the option to choose whatever direction you want to go. I don't think this article that came out blatantly stated that they are definitely just LGBTQ and that is it. I think that, as with all the other games or previous games, you will probably have a choice. I personally, it's not a big deal for me in terms of this, because I feel like this is not the first time that Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed has done something like this. But I am very curious to know what your thoughts are. I'm very curious to know if, as a huge fan or not a fan of this game, will you be purchasing this game? Will you not? And if so, why? I really would like to know your thoughts, so please leave a comment below and let me know. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me chatter. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and please come back and watch some more of my videos. Have a lovely rest of your day. Mwah.